When the shepherd lives in a palace while sheep huddle in the cold, something ain't adding up. Sunday they preach heavenly treasures. Monday through Saturday, 17,000 skew-effed mansions. Strap up, people. Your popular pastor's Gulfstream gravy train is about to take off, but guess what? We're crashing the flight path in this video, so stick around to the end. When we talk about the heavyweights of the pulpit, we have to start with the man whose name is literally money. Creflo Dollar did not just build a church. He built a kingdom that spans across state lines. His main estate in Fayetteville, Georgia, sits on over 182 acres of prime land. This is not just a house. It is a domain. We are talking about a 17,000 square foot mansion that makes most luxury hotels look like a roadside motel. But the man does not stop there. He has got a luxury condo in Buckhead, the Beverly Hills of the South, complete with floor-to-ceiling marble and a private spa for those days when the weight of the ministry gets too heavy. The math on this is staggering. When you add up the New Jersey estate valued at $2.5 million and the Atlanta holdings, you are looking at nearly $10 million in personal real estate. The question that hangs in the air like incense is how a ministry meant to serve the poor becomes a vehicle for this level of accumulation. Dollar has long preached the prosperity gospel, the idea that God wants you to be rich if you just have enough faith and seed money. It seems the seed has grown into a redwood forest of wealth for the man at the top. Bishop Y.V. Hilliard of New Light Christian Center took the parsonage concept and ran with it all the way to the bank. His Spring, Texas estate hit the market in 2024 with a jaw-dropping $15 million price tag. The property spans 24 acres and includes 6 separate houses totaling over 40,000 square feet. There's a home theater, a hair salon, a banquet hall, and a commercial-grade kitchen. Outside, an oversized pool and spa, tennis court, volleyball court, and a stocked pond. Oh, and parking for 22 cars. Harris County previously appraised the property at nearly $8 million. Without the parsonage tax exemption, Hilliard would have owed about $152,000 annually in property taxes. But he didn't pay a dime. The church classified it as a minister's retreat and conference center. The Dallas dynasty of T.D. Jakes. Move over to Dallas, and you find the Potter's House, where Bishop T.D. Jakes reigns supreme. Jakes is a master of the craft, a man whose voice can move mountains and whose business acumen is second to none. His net worth is estimated at over $50 million, and his housing choices reflect every bit of that success. Back in the 90s, he was already living large in a 10,000 square foot traditional mansion in Dallas overlooking White Rock Lake. This place had the tall white pillars and the southern charm that screamed established wealth. But as the ministry grew, so did the need for space. Jakes moved up to a 14,346 square foot mega mansion in Fort Worth. To put that in perspective, the average American home is around 2,000 square feet. Meaning this estate is roughly 7 times the size of what most families live in. We are talking about a compound with a private gym, a koi pond for meditation, and a swimming pool that looks like a resort. Jakes argues that his wealth comes from his books, his movies, and his global brand, not just the tithes of the 30,000 members in his congregation. Still, when the gap between the pulpit and the pew is this wide, the optics stay cloudy. In 2020, Tua Roberts and Sarah Jakes Roberts, the daughter of renowned pastor T.D. Jakes, purchased a luxurious 9,473 square foot Mediterranean-style mansion in the exclusive gated community of Calabasas, California, for $4 million. The property spanned nearly 10 acres, though much of it consisted of unusable hillside, and featured opulent amenities including double-entry glass doors, 9 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, a swimming pool, and a 4-car garage. Real estate reports described it as a glamorous residence in a neighborhood home to celebrities like Kevin Hart. The couple's purchase was reported by outlets such as Variety's Dirt section in July 2020, highlighting Sarah Jakes Roberts' rising profile as a preacher, author, podcast host, and founder of Woman Evolve, alongside her husband Tua. Just 2 years later, in 2022, the home was listed for sale at $9.5 million, reflecting significant appreciation amid the strong Southern California real estate market. The listing described a Venetian-style stucco and terracotta-roofed structure that had been freshly painted, with glamorous interiors. After some price adjustments, the property was sold in August 2022. Tua Roberts and Sarah Jakes Roberts are founding and co-senior pastors of One, a Potter's House Church, also known as One LA, a global ministry movement emphasizing fearless living, generous love, and service. They also serve in leadership roles connected to the Potter's House in Dallas, the fallen palaces of the Bling Bishop and the Prophet. Not every story of pastoral splendor has a happy ending. Enter Lamar Whitehead, the man the streets called the Bling Bishop. Whitehead was not shy about his bag. He drove a Rolls-Royce, wore Gucci suits that cost more than a Honda, and lived in a $1.6 million mansion in Paramus, New Jersey. This house was a 6,200 square foot statement piece with a marble entryway that reached for the heavens. Whitehead was the ultimate example of doing it for the gram. He used his mansion as a backdrop to show the world that God had favored him. But the feds had a different story. It turns out the favor was actually a series of falsified bank records used to snag a $1.3 million mortgage. The legal hammer came down hard, and in 2024, the Bling Bishop was sentenced to 9 years in the feds for fraud and extortion. His mansion faced foreclosure, and the dream turned into a cold, hard nightmare. Similarly, Prophet Shepherd Bushiri saw his luxury life in South Africa crumble. His mansion in the prestigious Waterfall Estate featured a dramatic double-volume entrance with a cascading water fountain. He even had an outdoor shower because regular indoor ones just were not special enough for a prophet. However, in 2020, South African authorities seized the property to recover debts after he fled the country to escape fraud and money laundering charges. This is the cautionary tale of what happens when the pursuit of the mansion outweighs the pursuit of the mission. The Star Wars sanctuary and the UK Empire. Even the legends are getting in on the luxury. Pastor Shirley Caesar is a queen of gospel, a woman whose voice has healed millions. But her North Raleigh residence caused a stir when it hit the market for $1.5 million. We are talking about an 8,700 square foot mansion that features something you would never expect in a preacher's house, a $300,000 Star Wars themed movie theater. Imagine walking into the house of a gospel icon and being greeted by life-sized stormtroopers and Darth Vader figures. The hustle is truly global. In the UK, Pastor Toby Adegboyega shows off his $3 million mansion in Surrey like it is a trophy. He hosts tours on social media, showing off his Ferraris and his $130,000 diamond rings. He says he does it to inspire the youth, to show them they can get rich legitimately. Then you have Hubert Angel, the man who reportedly gifted a private island to another pastor and bought a mansion for his son's 16th birthday. Angel owns a $2.1 million complex in Zimbabwe and properties in the UK that align with his message that God wants his flock to be filthy rich. The Orlando Sci-Fi and the Atlanta Strategy. In Orlando, Ty Tribbett owns a $2.5 million mansion, with an exterior so modern it looks like a sci-fi movie set. Inside, the kitchen alone probably costs more than most church members make in a year, featuring marble countertops and professional-grade appliances. Critics wonder why a minister needs a house that looks like a corporate headquarters, especially when his personal life faces public scrutiny. Then there is Jamal Bryant, who recently made moves in the Atlanta real estate market. He purchased a nearly $1 million home in Sandy Springs and a luxury condo in Buckhead. Bryant claims the Sandy Springs location keeps him close to his congregation, but owning prime real estate in two of the most expensive areas in the city raises eyebrows. It is a significant investment for someone whose primary income is meant to be the ministry. The legacy of Carlton Pearson. Finally, we look at Bishop Carlton Pearson. His mansion in Tulsa was modest compared to the others, valued at around $670,000, but it became the backdrop for his global broadcasts. Pearson's story is a sober reminder of how quickly the mansion can vanish. After he began preaching his controversial gospel of inclusion, his membership plummeted. He lost his church building to foreclosure in 2006. Though he passed away in 2023, his story remains a bridge between the old era of megachurch wealth and the new era of public accountability. The cost of the kingdom. We have to ask ourselves what this level of wealth does to the message. When a pastor lives in a 180-acre estate, can they truly understand the struggle of the woman in the third row who is choosing between her tithing and her rent? The active voice of the church is often shouting about prosperity. But the silence in the face of this inequality is deafening. These mansions are next level because they represent a new kind of American dream. One where faith is the currency. We see the marble, we see the gates, and we see the fleets of luxury cars. We hear the stories of miracle money and divine favor, but we also see the foreclosures and the fraud charges. We see the mansions being sold to pay off debts to the state. The storytelling here is not just about architecture. It is about the soul of a movement. If the goal of the church is to build a kingdom, we have to look at who is actually living in the palace. Is it the community, or is it just the man with the microphone? These billion-dollar lifestyles are impressive, yes, but they carry a weight that no marble pillar can support. As the pews empty out and the younger generation looks at these estates with a side eye, the church is at a crossroads. You can have the Star Wars theater and the private spa, but you might lose the heart of the people in the process. The next level might just be a level too high for the rest of us to reach. If you want to keep up with the truth behind the glitter and the gold, you need to stay locked in. We are pulling back the curtain on the luxury and the lies. Hit that subscribe button and join the family as we dive deeper into the stories that the gated communities do not want you to hear. We are talking facts, we are talking faith, and we are talking about the real cost of the crown. Don't miss the next drop. Stay woke and stay blessed.